Okay, for my web quest, I did it on pumpkins, and it's a web quest designed for kindergartners. So for the introduction, I would talk about how we're going to be counting pumpkin seeds together and playing with pumpkins for the day. I would ask my students certain questions about pumpkins, see what they already know about them, and tell them what we're going to learn. So there's a few tasks that the students will complete during this activity. They're going to be able to describe shapes, colors, and textures, be able to count in ones, fives, and tens, and be able to take care of a seed until it grows into a plant. So for the actual activity, the students will be placed with a partner. Each student will feel their pumpkin and describe what they feel, and they will write it down on this sheet of paper that I will have printed out for them. There's certain questions: how did the pumpkin feel? What color was your pumpkin? How many seeds did you count? And that question will be answered once the parent or student aide cuts open the pumpkin and they count the seeds inside. After they count the seeds by ones, fives, and tens, the next step is to plant the seeds. So there's two different ways that I put in here that the teachers can assess and that they could have their students plant them, which is either taking everything out of the pumpkin and putting soil straight into the pumpkin. And then the second way is to put soil in a plastic bag and then add 2 or 3 pumpkin seeds to the bag and water it each day. I put a note: make sure not to overwater because the pumpkin will mold if you do the first way of planting the seeds. And so throughout the next few weeks, each student will water their plant and watch them grow. For the evaluation, let's see if this will open. It's a little hard to read through this for some reason, but they're graded either with a 0, 2, 3, or 4, depending on how they worked with their partners, how they described the pumpkin, and how high they could count up to when they were counting the seeds. Okay, so in conclusion, everyone has finished the activity. We counted the seeds, we felt how the pumpkins felt, what they look like. And so I put in a few other things that you could do with pumpkins during this time of the year. And so for the teacher page, it's a little long. I talked about the California standards and what they'll be using with math, reading, describing what the pumpkin looks like. I put the materials needed, which is a plastic bag, a pumpkin for every 2 students, soil, a knife, a camera phone, so that the teacher can take pictures of the students growing their seeds and eventually place up on a wall for them. I put my email if there's any other questions. And that's all for my web quest.